How is this storytelling all?
Put a skirt on him.
Welcome to Kivalina!
It's Heartbeat, Alaska. It's Heartbeat, Alaska. You can hear it from Sitka to Barrow. Gather around for Jeannie's show. It's the Aleut, the Indian, and the Eskimo. It's the Aleut, the Indian, and the Eskimo.
Hello and welcome to Heartbeat Alaska Native News and Native Information. And on this program, we continue our look back at 2002, and some of the most interesting stories during last year were subsistence stories. It's fascinating to me how all our different tribes and nations capture their food and how they cook it. That's really interesting, I think. And we travel all the way from up north all the way to southeast Alaska and find out just how it's done. I'll be back right after this.
Heartbeat Alaska is brought to you in part by Coastal Villages Region Fund. Thank you, CVRF, for your support of Heartbeat Alaska. And Heartbeat Alaska is also brought to you by Frontier Airlines. Thank you, Frontier Airlines, for getting Heartbeat Alaska airborne.
Hi, I'm Mark from Scan Home, and we are proud to sponsor Heartbeat Alaska.
Scan Home, serving all of Alaska's home and office furnishing needs. Thank you, Scan Home, for making Heartbeat Alaska possible.
Heartbeat Alaska is brought to you in part by Brown's Electric Lighting Gallery. Thank you, Brown's Electric, for your generous support of Heartbeat Alaska.
We've been covering businesses, families, and individuals since before Alaska was a state. And we'll keep doing it until the glaciers melt on Mount McKinley. Primera Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alaska. We're here. We're with you.
All right, let's go on a hunting trip, all right, with my good buddy, Gary Simple. He lives in Venetie, Alaska. That's an Athabascan community where just out back, they hunt ducks.
Knowing how to shoot is especially important when unwanted guests stop by camp.
She saw him right over there. That little girl just went back to use the bathroom too, only 15 minutes before that.
When we came back yesterday, me and my son, and our tent was down, tore down, you know. He just tore it down. He took out the box and stole our roast beef moose that we were going to, and stuff like that. And we know he's around, so we went to sleep. And at night, we could hear him walking back there, running around. So today, they saw him, they say, they try to scare him away, but he just sat back there. They say, so, you know, we don't want that kind of bear around, you know.
Gary's mom and his wife had to chase away a black bear earlier by clapping and yelling.
Yeah.
Every year, since I remember, since I was a kid, as long as I remember, a black bear is always part of duck hunting excitement.
Then, just as dinner is almost ready, there's a movement in the trees.
When I first shot it, I shot him around the breast area, you know, and he turned around and started running. I thought I'd miss it, so I shot behind him. I shot behind him, and that's when I hit him. When I shot behind him, he flipped over, and he took off. We could hear him hollering back there, so we went back there, found him, and shot him again. Make sure, you know, make sure that he's dead.
Once he's sure the bear is dead, Dad returns to a hero's welcome back at camp.
Got him?
Yeah.
He's dead?
Yep. He's dead.
And the kids are excited to see the bear and learn from Dad.
Wait, not yet. Wait for me, yeah?
But actually, it's Dad that's going to be learning. He's never had to skin a bear before.
Dad, do you know how to skin the bear?
Learning right now.
Give him like
right now.
Give him that one bear that we saw over there by that cat that got killed in. Yeah. And that bear is a brown bear. It's a brown bear though. We keep. This is a nice bird I see.
Soon enough, though, Gary has the bear cut up into manageable chunks.
Well, I'm just packing it up to so my son can pack it down on the packboard. See?
Have you, Gabe?
How's it, Gabe?
It's good.
Now he can pack it back down. And my little girl, like, you know, to run around, and I don't want my kids to get real scared, you know. And when they do that, they become afraid of the woods. Mostly my girl will do that, you know.
Tell me what you got there.
30-30 bullet. It went through, but it stopped and went like that.
People out here don't usually eat bear, but I do. You know, I love bear. Yeah, I'm gonna take the meat in, see if they want to cook it for potluck tomorrow or whatever they want to do with it. And I took only a ham, so I'm gonna smoke that and cook and fry it up, I guess. Yeah, we always share what we have all the time: ducks, moose, whatever we can. You know, we kind of figure out who don't have stuff and who don't have hunters living with them and stuff like that, and we usually share with those people like that, you know.
As the sun sinks low over Big Lake, it's finally time for dinner. And time for stories around the family fire.
It's really good to bring your kids out in the woods, because this is where they learn to depend on you instead of depending on themselves. Because when kids only stay in the village, they don't depend on their family. I mean, their mom and dad no more. They just run around wild and do anything they want because, you know, the village is there, you know, so they feel so safe. So I encourage people to take their kids out in the woods where their kids learn how to depend on their dad and their mom for survival out there, you know. So they could, and then when they could go home, they could experience that, you know, and parents would have a chance to talk with their kids out here, tell a story about when your kids, and their kids will love that, you know. They love your story. Instead of hearing war story and rated R movie and stuff like that, they could listen to you. You know, and build a relationship between you and your kids, you know, out here. It's wonderful because nothing is interference, you know? And that's wonderful for me.
Today to Alaska, and Heartbeat Alaska will be right back.
Each week, Heartbeat Alaska brings you great stories from all over the state. And we couldn't do it without the generous support of Frontier Flying Service. Frontier gets our camera crews where they need to go. So whenever you see a Frontier plane, give them a wave.
Say hi from Noatak.
You might just be on Heartbeat Alaska.
Frontier Flying Service, covering Alaska for over 50 years.
Hi, I'm Lisa Zam with Alaska Family Hospice, your home in the city. We would like to invite you to stay with Alaska Family, located right next to the Alaska Native Medical Center. We will have a new addition for our special prenatal guests, a beautiful prenatal home. Call to make your reservations. This fall and winter, every guest is entered in a very special drawing every week for gift certificates, and in December, a grand drawing. So the next time you're coming to Anchorage, stay with Alaska Family, your home in the city.
Anchorage has about 500 native foster children. There are only enough native foster homes for half of them. Want to make a difference? Do something. Be a foster parent. The Agglutina Child Advocacy Center can help. 907-278-5437.
From Venetie, it's up north to the beautiful Inupiaq country of Kivalina and Noatak. Areas rich in native culture as the Inupiaq people hang on to and teach the way their ancestors lived.
This is Noatak, and the river is about 400 miles long, 300 something miles, almost 400. I never get the end of it, about 35 miles. But our people live along the river in different areas wherever the caribou go over the pass into our area.
Located in the Noatak National Preserve, 55 miles north of Kotzebue, sits the village of Noatak. Built on the west bank of the Noatak River, it supports a population of about 423. The village was made up of several small scattered groups, which fished and hunted in the area. One main group followed the caribou far upriver in the wintertime, while another main group stayed primarily in the forest. In the spring, both groups migrated to the coast to hunt seal and beluga whale. Noatak is the only settlement along the entire length of the Noatak River. Even though the Red Dog Mine is a major employer and the economy is diverse, still, Noatak is subsistence-oriented.
You always have something to do here in Noatak. There's always subsistence going on the whole winter, even the summer. There's seasons of, we do all kinds of hunting here in Noatak, so we're always busy here. We catch trout, catch caribou. Right this time, it's really duck hunting time and fishing time right now. Ice fishing, rod, and everybody will be there trying to find places to hunt ducks, geese, and snow geese. Oh, that's my uncle, Phillip Booth. He took a shot at geese. Yeah, everybody bring a shotgun.
maybe shoot 5 or 6 caribou. Then come back into town, I'll give him 2 caribou. And then if I'm too tired from working or driving the boat and working on meats, I'll butcher 1 caribou for myself. Then I'll get on the CB and say, anybody want fresh meat?
My wife's dad at Kivalina made this ivory hook. It's made out of walrus tussocks ivory. He makes them she got a couple of them with it this morning.
The rope is something that you can have other kind of ropes, but eventually the knot will come off. But when you have our sealskin ropes, it's you tie it one time and you know it'll be there when you're done with your travel.
I was brought up the traditional ways. You get your first animal that you can eat. You either have a potlatch or you give the meat out to elders. And with your fur-bearing animals, your first animal, you give it to an elder. And usually it's an older a lady, but you can give it to men too, as long as it's an elder. So you're being brought up that way. I like hunting and everything, so I was brought up where if you're a good hunter and everything, you don't only provide food for yourself, you provide food for your village.
I'd like to share just a verse from the Bible. It's in Genesis, and the word says, "And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." In other words, God is telling us that we are in control. He gave us dominion.
My grandfather went all the way to Canada before hunting caribou because there was a famine up here. He had to go all the way to Canada to hunt caribou by dog team. He'd bring it so far, go back and get some more, bring it so far, and he'd keep hopscotching, making caches till he got close enough to the village, and he brought some in, let them people get strong enough, and he just tells they got names for Eskimo names for the places, and all the other hunters, people can go out with their dog teams and get the rest of the meat. So I was brought up that way.
This one is a lady's belt, how they used to make the lady's belt. These are wolverine feet, and these wolverine here, they've been trapped before. After they trap, the foot freeze, and it freeze up to here, and it grow back. When it grow back white. And so these are special wolverine that the ladies have for their belts. This one here, I made it, and it's kind of a men's style belt. I put a buckle with sheep horn and put baleen around it, and this is opal. And these are bear claws and sheep horn beads. And I just make it this men's style. This is my knife belt. This one is a hook that we use, and here's how you grasp it. This is the way you hold it. And this is when the seal sink, you use this, or any kind of sea mammal that sink, and this goes through the bottom, and it gets caught on whatever kind of animal is in the bottom that you're trying to get. Seal, ogruk, walrus, whatever stuck. And this one is a floating one. When it's still floating, this is what we use. And our people, some of us still use the marks that we have, and mine are five notches. This is a needle pouch made with just a duck bone and a little bit toothbrush. This one here is a old lamp, seal oil lamp, and it was broken, but I put it together just for show. And this is deep enough to where it can have light for the whole evening. That's kind of about the size that they make them all around.
The people of Kivalina have lived for generations along the shores of the 8-mile barrier reef that separates the Chukchi Sea and the Kivalina River, which the village takes its name from. Being the center of the surrounding villages for meetings and trade for countless generations, Kivalina only recently incorporated as a city in 1969. Its people are Inupiaq Eskimo, living a subsistence lifestyle that depends on the hunting of fish, seal, walrus, caribou, beluga, and bowhead whale. Local tradition begins this season with a blessing by the church for the hunters.
The whaling captains will bring their darting gun, their whale bomb, and the stern of the paddle. And the priest in charge will bless these so that when they take them out to the ice, these that are blessed, which the captain used, will be the first one that he's going to grab and dart into the whale, and should kill with one bomb, one dart, one shoulder gun.
This one here is the jawbone of a whale that we had caught in '87, and it's been quite some time since we get another one.
We're still waiting. Some years we're lucky, some years we're not.
We were taught spiritually about the communication between human and the bowhead whales.
Although the blessing will take place before the Easter holiday, the whaling will not begin until after the full holiday is over in town.
Right now, we are kind of ready to go, but we don't really go whaling until the Easter is done. We kind of put the Easter first.
The strength of the people depends largely on their hunting skills, which is still the main occupation for most males in the area.
By next week, this whole town pretty much will be out in the ocean and see if whales come.
Jeannie Green Productions, Alaska's premier commercial, documentary, and event production team. Whenever and wherever you need video production, our experienced, dedicated professionals give your project the extra edge you're looking for. Alaska Native owned and operated. Jeannie Green Productions, your complete video production service.
Heartbeat wishes to thank Hagelin Aviation Services Incorporated for making our stories possible. We travel on Hagelin Aviation and we thank you for choosing them too. Hagelin Aviation has been serving Alaskans in the bush for over 20 years.
We fly Hagelins all the time.
Operating with 29 aircraft at 8 stations across Alaska and servicing over 100 destinations daily. Hagelin Aviation, your ticket to ride in rural Alaska.
We have a huge secret, we Native people. We know how to put up fish. Let's travel down to Southeast Alaska and learn how the Indians there put up smoked salmon. I'm telling you, it is so good.
We only get 1 month, which is July, to fish sockeye, which is really our native fish that we like to eat around here. And the rest of this fish that we're getting now is just king and coho, and we got a little bit of steelhead back there that we already pulled out and canned up.
16-year-old Joseph Douville and his friends showed us how they jar fish in Craig.
It takes a lot once you catch the fish to the finished product. You should ice them down the first night that you get them, and then flay them the next morning, and then strip them out and get them ready for like a plain pack, which is no smoke. You just put them right into the jar. After we strip it out, we soak it for, well, that varies too, actually. Some people like 2 minutes and others like 4 minutes. That 4 minutes that we did turned out pretty good. It was a coho and the there's other flavors that you can use, such as like pineapple in with the brine. You can make it like a Hawaiian, or you can use just about any other seasoning that you like to use on fish. It's alder. We skin it with a hatchet, take all the bark off. One of those things my dad taught me, it's just tradition for him, because I guess it leaves a real bad flavor to it, I guess. There's just something in the bark. We smoke the fish for about a day to a day and a half, depending on the amount of smoke, or if I was checking it at the right time, and if there's too much heat, and it can really vary on the amount sometimes, so we might have to do it a little longer than necessary. When we get ready to jar the fish, we cut them so they're just below the top of the rim of the jar, so that creates a seal after we cook it for 4 hours with a rapid boil. What I tried to do is stay to my dad's way, because he was really the one that taught me, and the way that his fish turned out, his jars, they were just real beautiful, and you could just see all the meat. Just the beauty of it. It's really pretty beautiful once you look at a good jar.
Heartbeat Alaska is brought to you by Frontier Airlines. Thank you, Frontier Airlines, for getting Heartbeat Alaska airborne.
Wow, I'm getting hungry. I think I better go and look in my freezer, and thanks to McCormick, make some reindeer stew, and thank you, Non Dalton. I'll just have a few crackers with some smoked salmon and some berries and some seal oil and some grook. I'm going to have a nice feast, and I hope you do too. And I hope this program is a feast for your eyes and your heart. See you again next week on Heartbeat Alaska.
Purchase a copy of this program, ask for Heartbeat Alaska, Heartbeat number 12802. Send your check or money order for $20 to Jeannie Green Productions, 6216 Old Seward Highway, Anchorage, Alaska, 99518, or give us a call, 907-563-7440.